Hi everyone, this is Rosa Kelly. I am here today with part 2 of the Baby Boy First Year mini album tutorial. So let's get right to it. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope that you guys are enjoying this tutorial series so far. As you know, we worked on the main page construction last time, and today we are going to be embellishing the pages with the design paper and also adding some little features to some of the pages. So let's get started. The first thing that I want to do before I cover my pages is add some borders. So I'm going to be using one of my Martha Stewart paper punches to create some pretty borders. I love using this one for baby albums, but you can definitely use anything you have, or you don't have to do it at all. We can skip that step, but I do like to do that before I cut my paper and add it. So for example, I also went ahead and rearranged the pages, so I'll show you what I have. So this one I decided to put on the first one. Then I have a pocket here. This is the second one that I did, and this one's just blank. This is the one that opens up and down, and that's the back of that. And then this one opens up, and here's the pocket. And then these two, I like to put them together so that they open up. It's very symmetrical. And then the next two are plain, and this one, actually I'm gonna do this one plain, and this one with the large belly button, and then the back will be plain, but it won't be plain. We're gonna add something to it, so we're gonna get to that in a minute. So that's the way I have it. You can of course modify it to whichever order you want. So like I said, I'm gonna be adding some pretty borders here. I'm just gonna turn this around so it's easy to see. And okay, so I have all the borders that I want to add punched out, and as you saw, I didn't put it on every page. So now the next thing I'm going to do is add my magnet. So I get this magnet, so I'm just gonna toss the magnet in here now on top of the one that I just added, and I am going to use a piece of tape with the sticky side up, and then I'm just going to place this right on top. And then we're just gonna close these and press that down. So this one is ready. This one will definitely need a magnet as well here. Now, if you don't do the border punch, you can also do a corner. I have these Becky Higgins, and then I also have this other one that's newer. I like this one because it has different corners. And so yeah, but I'm just gonna do this one right now because I think it's a lot faster to use. So I'm just gonna add a pretty round edge in there, and inside, yeah, I think I'm just gonna do that one. Okay, so now I'm gonna do the same here with the magnet. See this next one that goes up and down, I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna round the corner just like that, and I'm also going to need a magnet for this page. Same thing for the back. This one will definitely need a magnet, and I think this one I'm also going to do the round corner. I just don't like it when it's too boxy, especially for baby albums. I think the round edge is just more delicate. Okay, and then again I'm gonna do magnet. Now for this one you want to kind of make sure that the magnets will connect, so I'm gonna place my magnet right on the corner here. Then finally one set of magnets on this other pocket page with a closure. So let me find my tape, and this one's and there we go. These two won't need magnets because the way we place them, these pages won't open when we flip the pages, especially so now that we have all the magnets in place, we have our pretty borders added. If you're doing that, now we are ready to cover these with paper. So to cover with paper, I'm going to kind of do that off camera, but I will tell you how I'm going to do that. So let me just select some paper. I'm going to start with this one. I really like this little lion. He's so cute. Okay, so this is kind of hard to get out. Okay, so know that your page is always going to be 7.5 high. So most of these, not all of them, most of these you're gonna cut at 7.25 to begin with, and make sure you have the right orientation on your paper. And then for the back page, you're going to do 7.25 as well. So all the base pages will be 7.25 by 7.25. And then for the layouts, what I'm gonna do is just simply place my paper, and I'm just going to do a little pencil mark where we're gonna cut that. So you can do pencil mark, or you can just mark it with your little bone folder tool, and then we see where the little dent is, and I'm just gonna cut it, and this will be added right there. Okay, so now I'm just gonna glue these down just like that. Isn't that cute? And then I'm gonna glue the one on the bottom here as well, and we're going to add all the paper, and that I'm going to do off camera. But let me do one page that I want to do before we glue the paper, so I'm gonna move that to the side. So we're gonna find one, for example, something like this that don't have any feature, and I kind of like to do it towards the back. So maybe I'll do this one here, and we're going to cut a piece of 7.25 by 7.25, and this will be your back. But for this one, I want to do like a pull down waterfall. So for that one page that we're gonna do the pull down waterfall, before we glue this down, we have to do a couple things to that. So I'm gonna grab one of my scrap pieces, and I'm going to cut that, let's say 6 inches. Let's do 6.25 by 1.25. Okay, so we're just gonna do this little piece here, and that we're going to place here on this page. Okay, so let's center it side to side, and the first thing I'm going to do is just glue it. So I'm gonna glue the sides. I'm gonna do a little glue on the edge, and a little glue on this other edge. Okay, and then we're just gonna place it, and then we can take that to the side for now. So I'm just going to center it side to side, and then I'm probably gonna put it about 3/4 way down, you know what I mean, like this is where you want to put it. Oh, and then I'm going to cut a piece of paper that measures 1 inch by 6 inches, and I'm gonna glue these on top of the cardstock. So we're just gonna cover it like this. Okay, so we have that so far, and then we're going to use 2 little brads to secure these little bands. So I'm going to be using this cute baby I don't know, safety pins, and I got this one at Michael's, and so they're brads, so you get pinks and whites, which is perfect for boy and girls. So now I'm just gonna poke a hole here on the top. I want to see if this will work. Sometimes it doesn't just because I wanted more in, but we'll see. So oh yeah, so this will work. So you want to put the hole on the center, but because I'm doing the safety pins and this one have the little metal piece on the top, I don't know what to call that, so I'm just gonna poke my hole towards the top. Okay, and I'm gonna do the same for this side, and this is just so you can really secure your bands, because we're going to be pulling up and down on these a lot. So these little brads, yeah, they look cute, but they definitely are going to help you keep it in place. So now I'm just gonna open that up, and I'm gonna do this one as well, and open it up again. Okay, so now that we have this piece done, we can go ahead and glue this page down. So this is the only one that you're going to prepare ahead. Everything else we can just cover with the design paper at this point. Okay, so I'm just gonna center it. Okay, I'm going to continue adding the paper. I'll come back to this page to do the pull down once I'm done adding the paper on all my pages. Okay, so I am done covering my pages with paper for the most part. I'll just quickly show you how mine look like, and I did leave some inside blank just like this, and I will see what paper I have left, and if I need to complement, then I don't mind complementing a different collection on the inside of them. So now we're gonna go through some of these pages and continue adding some different layouts. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm going to start with my scrap pieces of paper. So for example, I have things like this, something like that, but I'm mainly going to use these pieces here. Okay, so I'm going to grab one of these, and let me grab my scoreboard here. Let me put this on the side. So this little piece measures 3.5 by 8.5. So I'm just going to score this at 3.25 and at 7 inches. Okay, and then this smaller piece here, I'm going to round the corners just like that, and then we're just simply going to fold along the score line. Let me grab my little tool on one side and the other one, and this is basically just a cute little envelope looking piece that we are going to add here on the first page. So of course we're gonna cover this with paper, and we're probably gonna add a little magnet to keep this closed as well, but for now I'm just going to start gluing these so I know exactly where it's gonna go and I don't get mixed up with the other things that we're gonna add. Okay, so I'm just gonna place that right there. And yeah, so then we're gonna cover that up later. So now I'm gonna move on to the next page here on this. So this time I'm going to grab the same piece of scrap paper. This again measures 3.5 by 8.5, and this one I'm just going to score down at 4.25, which it should be half of this. Okay, and then I'm going to do the same thing with rounding the corners. So I'm gonna do those two and these two. So this time I'm creating this little page that will open up like so, and I'm going to place this one in here. Again, we're gonna come back and do magnets where we need to do magnets, and then we're gonna cover that with paper as well. So notice how this is going to kind of come up a little bit on top of the pocket. So I'm just gonna start my glue kind of about 1 inch away from the edge, and then just go on this area only. And then I'm going to place this little feature here. Okay, so now I have this piece added, and I'm going to move on to the next page. And for this one that we just have this plain layout, I'm going to create a little booklet to go in there. So let me put this aside for now, and let me give you a little tip here, how I like to maximize my paper. So after I cover all of my pages, I ended up with a bunch of these leftover pieces, and they're all the same size. At least these long pieces are the same size. So I'm kind of gonna go backwards, making my booklets, making sure that I'm going to be able to use these pieces on that booklet. So these pieces measure, after we take this white strip off, this measure here 4 3/4, which is perfect to do like a 5 inch. And then if we divide this in 2, you get a 6 inches. So with that in mind, and you don't need to know all that, but I'm just giving you my tips on how I create my booklets to use my scraps basically. So I'm going to start with a new piece of cardstock. Now this is 8.5 by 11. I'm using heavyweight still, and I'm just gonna cut these. I'm just gonna cut these at 6 1/4. Just like that. And then I am going to cut these at 10 1/4. Okay. And then this piece I'm going to score at 5 inches and at 5 1/4. And that's just because I want to give it a little gusset here. So I'm going to fold along the score lines, both of these. Okay, so now we have a piece that looks like this, and this is the little booklet. Now for the inside of the booklet, I'm going to grab another piece of cardstock, and I'm going to cut these at 6 1/4, so same size. But now I am going to cut these at 10 1/2. Okay, and then I'm going to score this piece at 5 inches and at 10 inches. And I'm gonna fold these along the score lines, just like so. And then I'm going to do one more piece like this one. Then I'm going to use one of my random pieces of scrap paper, and I'm just going to cut these at 4 inches. And I'm going to score at 1 inch. And this is going to be the closure for our booklet. So now let's put it together. Okay, so I'm going to start with the first one here. I'm just going to add a little glue on my 1/2 inch flap, just like that. Then I'm going to close these, and I'm just going to place this little flap along the bottom, just like so. And make sure that you stay outside of that bending point. Okay, so I think this is good. Make sure you will close. And then I'm going to do the same with the second piece. Now the second one is going to go as a continuation of this one here. So we will place it like this. So again, I'm going to add my glue. And I do glue for this step so we have a little bit more time to adjust, you know, make sure we are not gluing it crooked or anything like that. So I am going to just match the corners and add it in here. Okay, so now we have this long accordion piece, and we're gonna fold this down like so, and then this is going to be how we're gonna close that. And then the small piece that we cut, I'm just going to fold along the score line, and I'm going to round the corners here. Okay, and then we're gonna place this one all the way on the back, just like that. Okay, oh, and then here I think we're supposed to do another 1/4 inch gusset. I forgot to do that. So let's bring back the board. And so we score at 1 inch, and then let's do 1 1/4. Okay, so we were supposed to do 2 lines. Okay, so back to this. I'm gonna fold along the score line again. And now I'm gonna place these, like I said, on the back. So we're gonna place it like that. Basically, we're just gonna put glue on the top here. And then we're gonna place this. Make sure it's center. And give it a little room, don't put it too close. So just something like this. So then this is going to close and wrap everything around. And so now I'm going to add a couple magnets here. So I'm gonna place one here, and I'm gonna toss my magnet on top. And then I'm going to do the sticky side up. And now we're gonna close this. So make sure you don't press it and you don't squeeze all the way down. Make sure this gusset is perpendicular to the base. That way we are going to allow this booklet to expand after we add the pictures and the papers. So now I'm gonna cover this page with paper, and I pulled out the paper that I have here, so you know, so I make sure to match the right colors. So like I said, once we take out this white strip of paper, just gonna take that out, and if we cut this right on half at 6 inches, now it's going to fit our booklet perfectly. So here we go. So I'm just gonna remove, oops, not the whole thing, just the tape. Remove the tape, and I'm gonna add this on the back. And I'm just gonna place this down, just like that. And then I'm going to use the rest of my scrap pieces to add the paper on the inside of this accordion little book. So now I can go ahead and add this here. So I'm just gonna glue these on the center, and then I'll continue adding the paper later on. Okay, so just on the center for me. And we're done with this page. So I'm going to continue flipping through my pages and see if I want to add anything else here. This one, it's already going to have all kinds of booklets in there, so I'm just gonna leave this one plain for now. And these two, I think these two, I'm not sure if I want to add something else. I'll see, because I think this gives us a lot of room for pictures. And notice how I only did this side, and I plan on just using some of my scrap pieces, and that way, because I only have one page left for this one and I like matching my pages, so I divided the one on like 2 6-inches. I think I'm just going to cover that with a different paper that I have left over. Okay, so now we are on our little pull down waterfall, so let's work on that. Okay, so I am going to use 2 pieces of heavyweight cardstock, and I am going to cut four pieces here of 4 1/4 by 4 1/4. So that will be right on half. So then I'm going to do 1, 2, and then from this one I get 3 and 4. Okay, so on the second piece I'm also going to cut these at 4 1/4, and I'm going to leave one to the side, and then this one I'm going to do again 4 1/4 and 4 1/4. Oops, put it out again. Okay, so then we have 6 pieces of 4 1/4 by 4 1/4, and we have this one piece of 4 1/4 by 11. And this one we're gonna trim, but for now, let me move this here. I'm going to start scoring. So I'm gonna place this on my scoreboard like this, and I'm going to score at half, 1, 1 1/2, 2, 2 1/2, and 3. Okay, so now I can move that out of the way, and we're just going to fold along the score lines one at a time, and they're all going to be folded on the same direction. Okay, so it's not like an accordion fold, they just all go folded on the same direction like this. Okay, so then I'm going to go back to these pieces here. I really like to round the corners when I do my pull down waterfalls, so we're only going to round the corners of 2 sides, so that will be the end, the part that's gonna go on the bottom. Okay, so now I'm going to start putting this together. So we're going to start on the bottom score line. We're just going to add glue here, and make sure that you don't add glue on the score line, just below the score line. And I'm going to place the first one right here like so, and then I'm going to do the second one okay, and then we're gonna place it again right on top of that score line. It's probably hard to see because we're doing, you know, white cardstock, but see, you put your glue here, and then you will place the next one right on top of that, 1/2 inch. Okay, so I'm just going to continue here with the next one. So make sure this is flat, and make sure we're even on the sides. Then we do the next one. Just like that. And then we have this one here. And we have one more. Okay, so now we have all 6 pieces, and you see how we have a little bit extra on the bottom. So I am going to just allow ½ an inch more on the back and just trim it right there. So I'm gonna place these right here at ½ an inch, and then I'm going to cut that right there. And I'm also going to round the corners for this large piece. Okay, so now I'm going to need 4 pieces of 4 by 4, and I'm going to dress up the waterfall before we add it into the book. So that's gonna be 4, and then 4 and 4. Okay, so I have 6 pieces here, and I'm going to round the corner of the bottom as well. And then I'm just going to glue these pieces down. So then we're going to need a piece that measures 4 by 7 to add on the back, the large piece here. So I think this is just about right. Oh no, just a little bit too long. Okay, so now again I'm going to round the corners on the back, and I'm just going to add this piece. So now we're ready to add the waterfall into the page. So I'm gonna open up this, and we're just gonna insert that right there, and then we're gonna make sure that it's center and we have it where we want it, basically. And then I'm just gonna open this one more time, and I am going to add glue here, or you can add tape if you like. And this is where that's going to sit. I'm gonna close it, and I'm gonna hold it. And then once you pull down the last one, you'll see the waterfall how it starts coming up and down on its own. If you want, you can add a little ribbon or one of these brads to be able to pull it down easily. I'm not sure yet what I'm going to do, so for now I'm just gonna leave it like that. Okay, so I like keeping my pages in order when I'm making a book. So now we're gonna move on to the next one. For this one here, I'm not gonna add anything because I don't want this page catching up to this page. Okay, so for this one I think just a monthly bubble will do. I might change my mind, but for now we're just gonna leave it like that, and we are going to work on this last one here. So we're gonna be making another type of booklet. This is going to be like a gatefold type of booklet. So I'm going to start with a new piece of paper, and I'm going to cut this at 5 inches. And this is going to be by 10.5. Okay, So now we're gonna score this piece at 2.5 and 2 3/4. And I'm gonna turn this around and do the same. 2.5 and 2 3/4. Okay, so now let me put this on the side again, and I'm going to fold along the score lines. So we have 1, and here's 2, and then I'm going to do the other side again. Oops, it's hard to grab. Here I'm gonna press it down, 1 and 2. Okay, so now when you stand up your little gussets that we created, you'll see that this is a little gatefold piece. Isn't that cute? Okay, so now we are going to make the element that is going to go inside. So we are going to need 4 pieces that measure 5 by 5 1/4. So that is, here's 1 and 2, and then I'm gonna cut 2 more. Okay, so now I have my 4 pieces, and we are going to place these on our scoreboard along the 5 1/4, and we are going to score at 1/2 inch. And I'm just going to do the same for all of these ones here. Now we're going to bring this little base that we did. I'm gonna open that up, and I'm going to start by placing 1 on the left. Make sure you stay a little bit away from the bending point there. I'm going to add my glue and place this one here, right next to that bending line. Okay, then I'm gonna grab a second one and place this right on top of this one, just like so. And then I'm going to do the same on the opposite side. Okay, so I'm going to do it right next to the line. And one more. Again, right on top of this one. Okay. So here we go. So now we're gonna close these like so. And then we're gonna close the gatefold. Now for the closure here, we're going to place another piece of cardstock where the bubble is gonna go for the month. But for now, just so I don't forget when I add my paper, I am going to just put my magnet there so I can go ahead and cover all my paper. And then once I'm ready to add the monthly bubbles, I already have the magnet here, or at least if I have it. So now we can add this into the page here. You can come back and add all your design paper on top. So I'm going to put this one actually up on the side instead of doing the middle all the time. So I am just going to do this, and we're gonna place it right here. Okay, so I'm just going to continue adding my paper there, and I think I have to add my paper, you know, all these places, and I am going to stop for right now. And on the next part, we are just going to put it all together, do the binding, finish up the inside covers, and then we're going to add some fun stickers and the monthly bubbles, and we're gonna be done. I hope that you guys enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, don't forget to subscribe. Also, if you give it a try, don't forget to tag me on Facebook and Instagram. I will have my links down below. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. See you next time. Bye-bye.